Do you ever feel like you are repeating yourself over and over again, but your child just doesn't listen? Put on your shoes, come to the table, stop jumping on the couch, and yet nothing changes. It's frustrating, right? But what if I told you that there's a simple 3 steps method that can get your child to listen first time without yelling, without nagging, without bribing? Hi, I'm Betty Johnson and welcome to B3Inspire, a place where we help you build your foundation, believe in your potential and become unstoppable. If you are ready for a real, practical parenting strategies, make sure you hit the subscribe and turn on notification. Now, children are great imitators, so give them something great to imitate. Before we fix the problem, let's first look at why do kids or children ignore us in the first place? What's the reason behind it? I'm a firm believer of every behavior is a form of communication. So what is it that that child is trying to tell us? But why do they ignore us? Before we try to fix the problem of why our children do not listen to us, first, let's look at why don't they listen in the first place. There are 3 facts, research-based, that I'm going to share with you. The first fact is children tune out of repetitions. Have you ever walked into a room with a ticking clock? At first, you hear the clock clearly, you hear that ticking sound clearly. And after a few minutes, your brain doesn't probably recognize it anymore. It becomes normal, you don't hear it. That's exactly what happens when we repeat ourselves over and over again. 2, too many words equals confusion. And being an educator, being in the classroom teaching for many years, always, it's about stripping back that instructions. So perhaps maybe a teacher listening out there would totally agree with me that giving too many steps at the same time leads to confusion. It's the same thing that happens at home. When we give children too many words at the same time, they do get confused. Imagine you as an adult, if your boss said to you, when you get a chance today, can you just make sure that you organize the file, but also get the reports done for me as soon as possible? It's confusion, right? It's exactly what happens when we use too many words with children. Children will listen when there are clear, short instructions. The third one is children do respond to connections and not commands. And some of you might have, if you've listened to some of my videos, you probably might have heard me talk about Rita Patterson a lot. And that quote around every child deserves a champion, an adult who never gives up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they could possibly become. Right, it's that power of connection. What is the solution? Right, let me introduce you to 3-step listening strategy, which I know schools do use to get 30 children to listen within a classroom, and sometimes over hundreds of children, especially if you're a school leader and you lead an assembly. These are some of the strategies that we use to help the children listen, and you can use these 3-step strategies at home. And let's look at the first one. The first one is get eye contact. Now, instead of shouting across the room, walk up to your child. You can gently tap the child on his shoulder, or you can just look at the child, making sure that you've got that eye contact and say their name. For instance, if the child's name, let's use a name, for instance, Liam, for instance. Say, Liam, shoes on. Why? Because eye contact activates a focused mood and helps them to process the words. Because you're looking at them, they are able to then pay particular attention, and that helps to activates their focus mood, and then they listen. They're able to understand what you've said to them. So first one is get eye contact. 2, give a short, clear instructions, and I can't emphasize this enough. Wrong way would be, Liam, honey, can you please put your shoes on? Remember, we're running late and I need to be there on time and all of this. By the time you finish giving that instruction, the child has forgotten exactly what you expect them to do. The right way would be, Liam, shoes on. Cut out the faff, the extra details, they don't need to. And I will say, when you are doing that, giving that instruction, you need to use a neutral tone. Neutral, confident tone. Not angry, not pleading. Okay. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, Betty, you have not met my child, or you have no idea. I've tried all of this and probably doesn't work. Well, what should you do if you've tried all of these techniques or strategies and it don't work? Do not worry. I've got 3 things that you could do. First is use the when and then technique. What does that mean? Liam, when you put your shoes on, then we can go to the park. Now, this keeps the focus on the goal rather than the power struggle. Okay. 2, follow through without nagging. And this is really tricky, and I get it as a parent, I get it. It's really tricky. But follow through it without you nagging at the child. So if they don't listen, calmly repeat it once. Shoes on, Liam. If they ignore that, guide them to do it, especially if they are toddlers or if they are much more younger children, you can guide them to do it. If they are older and they need to probably complete their homework or whatever, and they're not doing it, I would go, okay, can we sit down and do it? So have that time and sit down with the child and ensure that the child does it. You're not angry, you are calm, and straight away you see that change because they're probably going to enjoy spending that time with you. But we don't want it to become that focus of spending that time. But the whole message is that they're not getting away of not listening. You still want them to listen and do it. Lastly, use logical consequence. If your child refuses to put the shoes on, okay, then say, of course, then we can go outside and make sure you are calm, you are not angry, you're consistent, and don't go. Follow through. So don't carry out threats without you following it through. But I wouldn't even use threats. Just take the action. Right, I've told you 3 times you've not done that, so we are not going to the park. Simple. Next time, the child will realize that you are going to follow through and they will listen. Children, as if they are the wisest, kindest, most beautiful, magical beings on earth. For what they believe is what they become. Brooke Hampton. So let's recap the 3 strategies to get our children to listen. First, get eye contact. Second, give short, clear instructions. And third, have them repeat the instructions back to you. Try this today and see how much easier it becomes getting children to listen to you. If you would like to do a further reading around this, I would recommend Raising Emotionally Intelligent Child by Dr. John Gottman. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to B3Inspire for more inspiring and parenting tips. And tell me in the comments below one of the biggest challenge you have faced when trying to get your children to listen. I can share so many with you. I would love to hear yours. What are the ways, being maybe your own children, or if you were a teacher, what are some of the biggest challenge that you have had in the classroom trying to get those 30 wonderful children of yours to listen to you? I might be able to share some tips with you. So comment below and let's start discussing this. Right, remember, build your foundation, believe in your potential, and become unstoppable. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.